And we are live. Welcome to the NBA Strategy Show, Tuesday, December 9th. And the big thing here for today, folks, just 2 games. It's NBA Cup time. There we go. Let's get that set up perfectly. We're here for the NBA Cup. That's all we got today. And in particular, all we've got is the East for today. Miami at Orlando. The Knicks at Toronto. That is where we stand right now. 6 p.m. start. The Miami-Orlando game, just in case you haven't heard me yet, is at 6. Oh, I gotta go that way? Okay. Nope, that's too far. There we go. Yeah. So 6 p.m. start for us today. We're doing an hour and a half before lock. So it's deeper dive from 4:30 to 5:15, live before lock from 5:15 to 6. Don't need the full 2 hours, obviously. And then, not a ton to talk about. Interesting games, too. Miami, all this pace. Orlando, not. Knicks, Raptors is just a weird one. You've got the no RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, OG Anunoby dynamic. Lots to do today. Now, here's the deal. Today, we're going to take a quick cursory look at what the slate is, and then we're just going to think about this one in a bigger manner than just like getting the plays. Let's take a brief look at what we have so far. I just realized I didn't download a slate. That's wild. Gotcha. So, right now, we do have injury news that matters. Karl Anthony Towns is questionable. Tyler Hero, probable. Davion Mitchell, probable. Drew Smith, questionable. Jamal Shed, questionable. If we just want to look at it team by team, it's the Drew Smith news. Ooh, that's way too wide. There we go. It's the Drew Smith news for Miami. Only Terry Rozier is out. Technically, Vlad Golden could be out. Not going to matter for today. But we are waiting on the Drew Smith news. On the Orlando side, we don't have Franz anymore. So Franz is out. High ankle sprain. Probably going to miss all of December. Otherwise, we've got the rest of Orlando. But they are a very different looking team, swapping out Franz for Pallett. These guys just never play together. It's insane. It sucks so much. For the Knicks, Towns questionable. No Shamet. No McBride for today. And then finally for the Raptors, Jamal Shed, questionable. Jamison Battle, doubtful. RJ Barrett still out. Did you see that report about suitors for AD for a trade? No, of course not. Of course not. So, what I want to do before we look at the slate, because there's not like a ton to say about the logistics of this one. Like, yeah, if Towns plays, you can play Towns. Scotty Barnes, to me, looks pretty good. So does Jalen Suggs. So does Quickly. So does Bane. Hero with an MPE. We know the names we want to click on. We know we're going to have to find value in odd dudes like Jamal Shed, like Goga, like Jordan Clarkson, like Tristan Da Silva. We know we're going to have to do those things. That's not where I want to start. It's not where I want to start. We want to start here. Let's go to last year's NBA Cup, if we can. So we're going to want... Let's duplicate this. We know we want Milwaukee. Where's the damn NBA Cup schedule? No. 2024, stupid. We want to look at all the box scores and the popcorn machines from last year. Thank you, Wikipedia. I knew somebody would be able to do this correctly. Surely these dates are here. Fantastic. December 10th and 11th. Good deal. So, let's get the popcorn machine. Let's hope we get lucky here. December 10th. And we're going to say game 1 is Milwaukee, Orlando. Perfect. Nope, got it wrong. Or Mill. Got it. All right. Last year's game, we got 38 minutes for Jalen Suggs. We got 34 for Wendell Carter Jr., 31 for KCP. We got 38 for Goga. There was no Franz. There was no Paolo for this one. We got 32 minutes off the bench for Anthony Black. Tristan Da Silva started, played 16. Realistically, what we want to see is how much more did these main dudes play? And how do we want to use that information to adjust our baseline projections? On the Milwaukee side, we got the full 36 out of Giannis. Oh my God, dude. What a stupid NBA. Orlando, Milwaukee last year. Giannis playing, Dame playing. Now Giannis is hurt. Dame's not on the team anymore. Franz Wagner didn't play in this one. Paolo Banchero didn't play in this one. Now Franz isn't playing in it again. It's so stupid. We got 32 minutes from AJ Green off the bench. We got 32 minutes of Bobby Portis off the bench. They spot started Andre Jackson for 8 minutes last year. But we got heavy minutes out of Giannis and Dame. The other game on the 10th was OKC in Dallas. Well, Luka played 40 and left for the final minute. So realistically, Luka played 41. Lively played 32. Clay played 28. Kyrie played 40. We got 29 off of Najee Marshall coming off the bench. OKC, we got 38 out of Shea, 32 out of J-Dub, 30 out of Hartenstein. We didn't have Chet for this one. This is when he had his broken hip or whatever. But Dort got the 32. Cason Wallace got 30. So let's think about that for what we get out of Miami. And what I went to here. Because this is a team that's really tricky today. Because realistically, I think we should expect an extra minute or two for Hero, for Powell, for Wiggins, for Bam. I don't know about Davion Mitchell, but sure. But Tyler Hero's played 5 games this year. He's missed the last 2. That's tricky. We haven't really seen all of these guys together all that much. Hero, Powell, and Wiggins. Hero, Powell, and Wiggins have played 3 games together at this point. So, like, we totally don't know how their rotations work. And we don't know who's going to get cut if this happens the way that we think it can happen. Because realistically, they're going to lose like 1.5 dudes for today. It seems like Jaquez will be fine. In the games where they did have everybody-ish around. Now, Jaquez missed one of them. He played 17 and 21 minutes in the 2 games where they had their core dudes. I went to 22 to start because I think he's just going to be out there. Similarly, Ware, 26 minutes in the first game when they had everybody, 16 in the second game when they had everybody, and he got only 22 in the game where Jaquez and Fontecchio both missed. Fontecchio got hurt, missed the game, and then played the 21. Drew Smith just kind of plays the backup point guard run, but he's questionable. And I also think that based on everybody they have now, I don't think it would be insane if Drew Smith played 0 minutes, but I doubt that's the case. I think that Larson's the guy that leaves the rotation, if it's somebody. Now, he got 21 minutes in the first game when everybody was together. The next one didn't have Jaquez or Fontecchio, so he's there by default. He played 8 once everybody got back, and then Jovic didn't exist. Now, I think there's a lot of wiggle room here on all of these guys. But remember, for every extra minute you play the starters, it's got to come from somewhere or someone. I think that Jaquez and Ware are the most likely guys to play like 25 today from the bench. And then you're flipping coins on Fontecchio, Drew Smith, Pelle Larsson. If Drew Smith happens to be out, this makes it so much easier to project the Miami Heat. Travis, I think Jaime gets over 25. Is that a question or you're telling me? Because there's nothing that I look at here that makes me think that that's the case. The moment they had everybody available, they stopped playing Jaime. Like, when everybody's around, they stop playing Jaime Jaquez big minutes. Yeah, Brandon, I definitely don't think it's Fontecchio. Look, the last time they had the opportunity to do it, it was Larsson, not Fontecchio. But, like, what if Bam plays 36 and Wiggins plays 36? Because look at this. Bam played 40 2 games ago. Wiggins has a 34 here, a 37 here. What if those guys play those minutes? They got to come from the bottom of the rotation somewhere. And that's where I think, like, you definitely don't want to take any particular stand on what I would say Fontecchio, Smith, Larsson, but this could go a couple different ways. Yeah, Jovic did get 31 minutes last game. That doesn't matter. Davion Mitchell, Tyler Hero, and Pelle Larsson didn't play. Just can't see Larsson going from starting to not seeing the floor at all. Why? The last time we had this situation, he played 8 minutes. That's exactly what they did. It should be the only thing you could see. The only example that we have of this is them taking Larsson. When was that game? That's 4 games ago for Miami. Clippers, December 1st. They brought Jaquez off the bench first. Ware and Larsson came in together. And then Drew Smith got his standard backup run, which he's kind of different positionally. And then they closed with Fontecchio. And then in the second half, they never went back to Larsson. They've got too many guys. Now, to be fair, I have no idea. Yeah, Jeremy, that's I don't agree with that. There's obviously scenarios where Pelle Larsson plays 23 minutes today. So that's the Heat in terms of playing time. Orlando's a problem too. I went 35 minutes to Desmond Bane. I certainly think 38, 39 in the cards. Part of me wants to go to 36 there. Let's look at those other two games from the Cup. So the 11th is going to be New York and Atlanta. That's going to be informative, at least for the next one, to a degree. Let's duplicate that. December 11th. All right, New York and Atlanta last year. Towns played 37, Bridges played 38, Brunson played 35, Anunoby played 39, Hart played 34. Bench is going to look a little bit different. Jalen Johnson played 41, Trey played 36, Dyson Daniels played 36, DeAndre Hunter played 29 off the bench. They split Okongwu and Capella. And then Houston Golden State. Oh, I remember that game. That was terrible. Houston jammed minutes. Brooks played 38. Van Vliet played 36. Jabari Smith played 38. Şengün and Jalen Green both got over 30. Amon still got to 30. We got 35 minutes out of Buddy Hield. 36 out of Kuminga last year. Jesus, Lindy Waters played 23. Man, the NBA changes so much in 12 months. It's so crazy. So realistically, I think, 35 or 36 for Bane makes the most sense. And I think he'll play upwards of 40. It feels like Tristan da Silva just plays like 24, but I think 30 is very on the table. Your guess is as good as mine of how many minutes Paolo Banchero can play today. Came back, played 20, then played 24. I went 28. You tell me he plays 36 today. I 100% believe it. But I don't know. Seems like Wendell Carter Jr. and Goga are just themselves. I went 32 to Suggs. I think 36 is in the cards. I went 30 to Anthony Black because it's just hard to go to too many more for guys off the bench, but he's played 32 and 34, 3 out of the last 5. And then, my expectation is that it's mostly Tyus Jones, John Isaac, and like a little bit of Jet Howard, but Orlando also has a lot of minutes to go around. We could get 38 for Bane, 30 for Da Silva, undetermined Banchero, 36 Suggs, 34 Anthony Black, and I think that's like a very realistic scenario for an NBA Cup game. I think the Da Silva piece is the most... Well, I think Da Silva and Paolo Banchero are the two most important pieces from Orlando. Because realistically, I think they have the biggest range of minutes. Like, we have no idea. Banchero is just like, we hope we find out what the betting markets look like 9 hours from now. Or whatever the time is. But like I said, I went 28 minutes, and that put me about where the market is. But he is very, very live to just play 35 minutes. But I think Orlando's a little bit easier to talk about rotationally than Miami. And then we get to the Knicks. So no Shamet, no McBride. I think that leans us into a pretty obvious setup for the Knicks. You're going to get as much of Brunson as you can. He can get to 40 in this spot. I think you're going to get as much of Bridges as you can. I think you're realistically going to get as much of Josh Hart as you can. It's the next two guys that complicate matters. Anunoby's only been back for 2 games. He played 23 minutes in his first game back. He played 28 minutes in his next game back, the most recent game for the Knicks. OG Anunoby might as well be Paolo Banchero today. I went to 31. If he played 38, I'd be like, yeah, I believe that. Similarly, Towns, dinged up, missed the next one, could play 38 today or not play at all today. We don't really know. Obviously, if these starters get bigger minutes, you stop seeing Gershon Yabusele and Ariel Hukporti get out there. It feels like Jordan Clarkson is the most interesting bench guy from the Knicks with no Miles McBride out there. Because the minutes have to come from somewhere. In theory, you could get a little bit more of Tyler Kolek, but they really just seem to play Tyler Kolek whatever Jalen Brunson doesn't do at most. But they're really thin here. And because of that McBride injury, it just makes me think we're going to get an overwhelming amount of Brunson and Bridges. And I could see a scenario where you really think these guys are like 37 or 38 minutes. We'll see. I think the other most interesting piece here is Mitchell Robinson. So he started their last game with Towns out and played 25 minutes. This is an NBA Cup game. There's no reason that Mitchell Robinson can't play 25 minutes off the bench now that we know that he can play it. I think he sees a couple extra minutes because they just consolidate the rotation because they're trying to win a game. So I think Mitchell Robinson is a little sneaky. Admittedly, it seems like I have him overprojected. Toronto, also weird because their bench is like, it's good as a bench, but it's not great for confidence. We've seen Quickly get 35, 35, 37, 35 minutes in 4 straight games. I think 35 is a very realistic number for Quickly if that's a direction you want to go. Jacoby Walter should just be this mid-20s guy like he typically is. But I think 35 to 40 on Quickly, Ingram, and Barnes. Those are the guys that are going to get this extra time. You could get Jakob Poeltl up to 30 minutes. He played 32 and 33 in back-to-back games for the Raptors in this most recent stretch. Typically, that's not where he is. But on a day like today, could be. I doubt it just because Mamu's good. Mamu's range of outcomes today is pretty wide. If Jakob Poeltl plays 23 minutes, we could see more of Mamu. The news on Jamal Shead is huge. Because that dude plays and that dude closes in situations where they don't want it to be Jacoby Walter. So, paying attention to Jamal Shead all day is oddly important. We saw Ochai Agbaji get 22 minutes last time out. Not a great per minute guy, but if they're going to consolidate the rotation, if they're not as trustworthy in a rookie Colin Murray Boyles, if Agbaji is going to play north of 20 minutes, that just becomes a thing for today. Doesn't seem like they're going to give those minutes to Dick or Murray Boyles. So I don't think that those guys are like super relevant today. But the Quickly Ingram Barnes camp, man, those guys can see a ton more minutes and it wouldn't be surprising. That's sort of like what we're looking at for today. I could check and see who my contenders are while this runs. While my contenders run and we take a look at my top plays. it would be a perfect opportunity to tell you guys to download Tails. I talk about this every day. No, today is no different. Yesterday, I posted a bonus perfect lineup. I posted prize picks cards, and I posted my DK contenders. And that's just me. That says nothing for the other 200 plus posts that were on Tails yesterday that you were able to see for free. Whether it's sports betting, pick'em sites, DFS coverage, you can follow the free picks feed, follow whoever you want on there. It's not going to cost you anything. If you find somebody that you follow, you like their information, and they have a paid package, you can subscribe to them directly. But you don't have to, but you can if you want to. And I'd recommend it when you find the people you like. But for right now, you can download the app. Free picks feed's never going anywhere. If you do it, though, hop in the App Store, leave us a review, leave us a rating. Incredibly helpful, guys. Incredibly helpful. We're trying to grow the platform as much as we can. We're trying to get to 1,000 ratings by Christmas, and we are on that pace. But to keep that up, it's got to come from you guys. All right. My top 10 plays as of right now. Scotty Barnes, Jalen Suggs, Emmanuel Quickley, Desmond Bain, Brandon Ingram, Tyler Hero, Wendell Carter Jr., Jordan Clarkson, Andrew Wiggins, and Tristan Da Silva. Can't say I hate that. I'll go team by team just to make it easier. That's what I got from Miami right now. That looks so stretchy. I don't like that. Yeah, that's better. Much better. Okay. So on Miami, essentially, which is really annoying, Hero, Wiggins, Bam, and Powell, they all might as well be the same guy. They're all like right at 30% optimal. If you're asking me to pick in that group, it's probably Hero because of the MPE. And then I think Davion Mitchell is the only other guy I would like really trust. I think the slate can be made by getting Fontecchio, Ware, Drew Smith, Jaime Jaquez correct. Because I think it's going to be one of those dudes, and I don't know which one it is. For the Knicks, top of the heap is Jordan Clarkson. It's a role thing. It's a lack of McBride, and it's a shooting guard small forward thing, 4,200. Just the easiest piece of value that we have right now. If he's in, it looks like it's Towns for me. Again, that MPE carrying a lot of weight, 29% optimal. You're looking for 48 fantasy points out of Towns. That's 4 more than his projection from me, at least. And then it's Josh Hart. It's annoying that he's shooting guard only, but then it's Brunson, then it's Bridges. But Anunoby at power forward, 5,900 with no idea how much he's going to play, I find very interesting. And then Mitchell Robinson, $4,300 center only. Another guy that I find very, very interesting today with a wide variety of minutes to be played. Orlando. Jalen Suggs is at the top of the list for me. I'm not surprised. He typically is. Bain would be second. Wendell Carter Jr. would be third. Basically tied with Tristan Da Silva, depending on what you need. Anthony Black looks fantastic. Goga at 3,900 looks great. I just don't know what to do with an $8,500 Paolo Banchero. And then, Tyus Jones, $3,500 point guard is more of a value than we would ever really want him to be. Finally, the Raptors are really easy. Barnes, Quickley, Ingram, Jakob Poeltl, coin flip Walter or Shed, coin flip Mamu or Grady Dick. Grady Dick, flat min, shooting guard, small forward. Ochai Agbaji, 3,500, shooting guard, small forward. Those are 2 very problematic prices in positional sets for us today. Raptors coming back down to earth. Only for the people that look at wins and losses. They were never there in the first place. paper wins for the Crafters. Yeah. Are they still having ridiculous shooting luck? It's starting to balance. 12th in effective field goal percentage, 17th in real. Defense is, 11th, but 26th. Steven, what do you mean? Are you talking for minutes, like 30 or 31? Do I think the Thunder could beat the Warriors record? I'd be shocked if they don't. This is the best team we've ever seen. Yeah, like, Steven, if you're gonna, like, for someone like Banchero, I would just let him, like, ladder his points and stuff today. Because it's just, if you start shifting his distribution for playing time, he just becomes so much more interesting. Like, you give him like 4 more minutes and shift that this way. Sign me up. Raptors have the 4th best record in the East and they're the 7th or 8th best team in the East. Yep, I pretty much agree there. I mean, the East is crazy. It's just so bunched up. Vic, you don't gotta tell me, brother. I know you're with me. I wish I would have put down more that day. It's not helping me that they're on a 5-game win streak. Didn't get down enough. All right, let me hit you guys with the rest of the schedule for today. So as I mentioned, deeper dive tonight at 4:30. NBA Live Before Lock at 5:15. But we also have the NFL Strategy Show coming up after this at 10 a.m. with Laffy and Ben. They'll be taking a look at next week's slate. And then you get the NHL Strategy Show at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Brian, no. Soon, no. This year, yes. So long as nothing else happens. And then they're going to win the East and pay me my monies. I can make it all back for last year's aggressive betting of the Celtics against the Knicks. Look, I'm very intrigued by this slate, but we need so much news. I realistically, I'm Team Toronto today, which I hate. But I think we've hit everything that we can for today's slate. We looked at traditional NBA Cup quarterfinal rotations. We took a walk through each one of those teams. And then, we hit what we could. Giannis to Hawks, they win the East. Only if they trade Jalen Johnson and not Trae Young in that deal. If the goal is to trade Trae and keep Jalen Johnson, I hate Giannis to the Hawks. Did I have any Russell Westbrook last night? No, I didn't, actually, which was annoying because I had all the Derek Queen, but I didn't have any Russ. which was very annoying. Yeah, I really, really, really don't like Giannis to the Hawks if the goal is to keep Jalen Johnson. And I think that's the goal. But I would not want those two guys together. Absolutely can. I think the Hawks would find some struggles having Giannis and Timu Giannis playing alongside each other. Thoughts on Jalen Johnson's ceiling? It all comes down to if he could ever shoot. That's going to be it. Because right now he can't. And for some reason, he doesn't seem to like raise the team when he's out there. I know that sounds weird. I'm not trying to say that he's not good. But he's going to really need that 40% to not be fake. And I'm pretty sure it's fake. But we'll see. He good. Look, he good. Isn't Dame with Giannis the same as Trey, an offense-only guard? No. I mean, look, like I'd still rather it be Dame, but I don't think those two things were an issue. And I think there's a lot more defensive talent to make up for Trae Young than there was on the Bucks. Just to be clear here, I don't like it either way. I wouldn't want Trae Young to be my point guard if I were trying to win an NBA title. And I also don't like the fit of Giannis and Jalen Johnson together. But actually, you know what? I haven't looked at this in a while. I'm sure this is exactly what I think it is, but just in case. They show Giannis. That's hilarious. Yeah. 118.5 offensive rating last year with Giannis on and Dame on. Still pretty damn tasty. Yeah. They'd still be sick. I stand by my story. I have no idea where he's going to go. I don't. And I think it's just so hard to do it in the season. It just makes so much more sense, but it all comes down to who's willing to overpay. Someone's just going to roll up a here's 4 firsts and 3 swaps type deal, and then at that point in time, the Bucks just have to take it. I just don't know who that's going to be. But that's a conversation for a different day. Guys, we're in the books here. I'm going to get the projections up on the site shortly. Keep your eyes peeled for contenders, prize picks cards, all that good stuff. And then we'll be back later tonight for Deeper Dive Live before